some of our members on Zoom, so make sure you speak loud enough that they can hear you.
Absolutely.
Make yourself comfortable when you are. Give us a couple-minute overview of who you are and why you want to be a county judge in St. Johns County.
Sure. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
First and foremost, I just want to thank all of you all. Truly humbled to be before you today, and just really, really grateful for this opportunity to sit in front of you all. And I recognize the fact that this is a lot of work for all of you, and I truly appreciate the time and effort that you guys put into this as well. So first I want to start off by telling you a little bit about myself, and then I will wrap it up and let you know why I applied for this position. But first, I moved to Florida when I was 4 years old. I moved to St. Augustine. We lived here for about 2 years, and then I moved over to Palatka. My father accepted a position with the Putnam County Sheriff's Office over there, and he still works for the Putnam County Sheriff's Office as a captain. I grew up in Putnam County. I went to Palatka High School, graduated from Palatka High School, and I went to Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. I graduated from there, summa cum laude, with a degree in economics and political science. Went to law school at Florida State. After leaving law school, I went on to be a prosecutor for 8 years. I worked in the 7th Judicial Circuit, and then I also worked in the 12th Judicial Circuit. I worked at the Office of Statewide Prosecution. Most recently, I accepted a position with the Department of Treasury. I work as a criminal tax attorney for the Department of Treasury. What that role involves is I am essentially giving advice to law enforcement. I work as an in-house counsel, providing them with advice on different criminal investigation issues that may arise. They are investigating cases of tax evasion, filing false returns, some of the other things you see are money laundering, things of that nature. And I'll render legal written opinion to them on the law and what I think that legal issue, how they should resolve or recommend how they should resolve that legal issue. And so I've been doing that now for the past 2 years. Those cases typically involve grand jury investigations and some high-profile individuals, and there's a lot of paperwork involved with reviewing those types of white-collar crime cases. And so I live in St. Johns County now. I've lived in St. Johns County for most of my professional career, other than when I worked for the 12th Judicial Circuit, which is in Bradenton and Sarasota. And so when I left Bradenton, Sarasota, came back up to St. Johns County. I live here with my husband, and I have 3 children. I have 2 daughters, a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old, and then a 3-month-old little boy. And we did kindergarten this week, kindergarten and BPK. So that was a great experience for the children. A little hard for mom and dad, but it was overall a very exciting time for them and for us. So, I put into this position because I've always aspired to be on the judiciary, and I think that stems from and manifests itself from my childhood and growing up. My family put a lot of emphasis on public service, and my dad was in law enforcement. My mom worked for the school board in Putnam County. My sister has been a teacher with St. Johns County School District for the past 10 years. And my brother, he was also a prosecutor with the 7th Judicial Circuit. He also worked for the Department of Children and Families. So my family is it's a really important part of who we are, public services. And so I aspire to that position for that reason, and I feel as though it's a higher calling for me.
Talk to us about electability. Obviously, we've had a couple of people not get reelected, so this spot will be up in a couple of years. How would you approach that, and what's your experience with elections?
So I've never run an election, other than I was in student government in college, and I had to run one in college in that context, and it was much smaller. But I have spoken to several people who have had the opportunity to run elections, and having spoken with them, I've sort of developed a strategy for myself and how I would pursue that. I do recognize the fact that has happened quite a bit lately, and I do recognize that I should be prepared for that to happen. And so I would be prepared to start a committee and then work on that fundraising and the coalition if that were to occur.
If you could tell us a little bit about the cases you handled here in St. Johns County as a prosecutor.
Sure, yeah. So in St. Johns County, I worked in St. Johns County, started in St. Johns County as a juvenile prosecutor. So I worked in St. Johns County for approximately, I think it was 2 years or so, and then I was promoted to a felony line position in Putnam County. And I spent, I think, about 4 months or so in Putnam County before I left and went down to Bradenton.
What was the reason for going to Bradenton?
Sure.
You could tell us. I know why.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was married in July of 2013. My husband worked and lived in St. Petersburg at the time, and he made the attempt to come up here. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So I started applying down there, and I moved down there in November of 2013 so that we could be together, and accepted that position with the 12th Judicial Circuit so that we could spend time together.
Ultimately, your whole family's up here in St. John's.
Right. Yeah, my entire family most of our family lives in St. Johns County or in Putnam County. Yeah.
JoAnna, my name is Mark Stan. I'm from Palatka.
Yes, sir.
And I think my office is right next door to somebody you're kin to.
That is true. Yes.
My new office is going to be right next door to him as well.
Great.
Question, when I was talking to Judge France, he mentioned that you were an intern at the House and the Senate.
I was, yeah.
Tell me what that was about.
Sure. So when I was in law school, they had these opportunities where you could intern with the House and the Senate in the Appropriations Committee. Well, you could intern in any committee, but I interned specifically in the Appropriations Committee. And so what I did there is it's a great opportunity where you were able to intern, and they would pay in turn, they paid part of your school. So they paid for, I think, about a semester of my school each year. So I interned 1 year with the House, and then I interned the second year with the Senate. Both times with the appropriations committees, and I would just research whatever issue was coming up for that year. So I think 1 year they considered putting in the Georgia superspeeder law, and so into moving that to Florida, and I researched that issue and sort of took a look at that, and so I would look at whatever type of issue came up that year, whether it was tax related or some other type of issue, and call the different counties if I needed to, or do whatever task they had for me at hand. But it was a great experience. I had the opportunity to see the legislature in action, and I truly am grateful for it today. It certainly has helped me pay for law school as well.
A quick follow-up question. I've got some clients with problems with IRS. Can you fix them for me?
Probably not.
Why county court and not circuit, or do you have a preference over this?
So, what I like about county court is that you get to be in front of a lot of people. I also like the fact that it's a fast-paced movement. When I grew up, I'm the oldest of 4 children, so things were going quickly. I had to be able to move fast and effectively and efficiently and make decisions, and I think that I enjoyed that, and I flourished in that type of environment. So I like that about county court. Would I ever rule out a possible circuit court? No. I mean, I may consider the opportunity down the line, but at this point, I think my qualifications are probably more geared towards county court.
We've got a technology question. If you were to be appointed moving forward post-COVID, would you continue to use Zoom technology in your courtroom, and if so, how?
I think it depends. I think for evidentiary purposes and evidentiary hearings, I think it's very, very difficult to use Zoom to effectively and efficiently do those types of hearings, trials, that type of thing. I think for some hearings and in some circumstances, it may be appropriate. So I would not rule it out entirely. I think that there are certainly, it helps private attorneys with time. It manages the court's time a little bit better in certain circumstances. But then again, in other circumstances, specifically trials and evidentiary hearings, it would be very difficult to do that over Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Pang, can you hear me?
Yes, certainly. Hi, Mr. Moore.
I got a couple of questions, so I'll try and ask them while I got you.
Okay.
First of all, I see that you have some volunteer experience with Big Brothers Big Sisters. That's
Yes.
something that is big in my household. Tell me about that experience and how that has helped you or shaped you in any way.
Sure, absolutely. So I did Big Brothers Big Sisters in Tampa Bay when I worked for the 12th Judicial Circuit. And that, oh gosh, is an absolutely incredible experience. I mentored a little brother. I was the big sister, and I would see him several times a month. And at the time, he was 5 years old. Now he's 15 years old. Or I'm sorry, no, he just turned 13. And so He is taller than me. It's kind of unbelievable, but I continue to maintain contact with him and to talk to him. Obviously, I'm not a member of Big Brothers Big Sisters in Tampa Bay. I live here now, but I still do my best to mentor him and to talk to him and maintain contact with him. And I think it's personally a truly rewarding experience.
Well, I look forward to extending an invitation for you to join the board here in St. Johns County.
I'm more than happy to. I actually attempted to become a Big Sister again in St. Johns County right before COVID hit, and unfortunately they weren't taking applications at that time. And so I would absolutely look forward to that.
Any other questions?
I think Mr. Morgan is
Oh.
speaking. I just can't hear him.
What do you think makes good judicial temperament? And that's my first question. A second one is, can you think of a time where a defense attorney, after speaking with them, you changed your position, or they were able to sway your perspective?
Sure, absolutely. I think that, to answer your second question actually first, I think that happens all the time. You know, you have to be open to listening and to communicating with defense attorneys, and in my job as a prosecutor, I had to listen to what they had to say, and certainly had to take that into consideration. And they changed my mind all the time. As to your first question, I think judicial temperament, the most important things, first off, I think a judge should be firm, but I think the judge should be able to communicate calmly and effectively and with respect. When people come before the court, they're not usually there because it's the greatest day of their life. I think that they're usually there because there's some type of conflict that's ongoing, and it's a really difficult time in their life. When parties come before the court, when attorneys come before the court, I think you have to be respectful of that and just keep that in mind. I expect the court to be firm, but I expect the court to also show people respect and to understand that this may not be an easy day or an easy time for that person, that party. So that's how I would operate if I were so honored with this position.
Anything else? Anybody other questions? All right, well, thank you, and the number we have on your application is the accurate number. So we will finish what we're doing today and give you a call later this evening.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.